You hearing me?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you for
Yes,
responding.
ma'am.
Thank you for responding. I know there's a lot of things going on this evening. There's graduation, there is funeral, there is picnics, there's all sort of things. However, we have an initiative. The initiative is that we will go. I heard about building bridges, and what's the other part of it? Building bridges and breaking down barriers. As we come to the end of level 2 certification, you are making history because this will be the first level 2 certification, health education certification in the Caribbean. I don't know if it's been anywhere else, but you are making history. And I'm so happy that you have come thus far by faith. And I do hope that it will be something that you will use, and not something that you'll be putting up somewhere. It's something that you will use. In a very special way, I would like to welcome you, whether you're coming from Bahamas, whether you're coming from Turks and Caicos, whether you come from North South Bahamas, or you're coming from the Cayman Islands. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad you are here this evening as we present our lab presentation. You will be asked this evening to do your evaluation of the program, and you all know that graduation is on the 21st of July. Yeah, we want to do it hybrid. We would like to have it simultaneously. I don't know how that is going to work, but by the faith of God, we have reached this far and we will reach wherever we intend to go. I am going to be doing something unusual this evening. Some of my co-hosts are not here this evening. They have other business to do. So I'm going to ask for somebody to pray for us to start the program this evening. A volunteer.
Dear God, we come to you in the holy and precious name of Jesus just to thank you for who you are and for all of the knowledge that you have provided for us as we endeavor to use health as the right arm of the gospel in these last days. Father, we pray that your precious Holy Spirit will come now and open our minds, open our understanding, grant all of the wisdom and knowledge, and equip us not only with the medical knowledge, but with the power of your Holy Spirit. Bless the presenters, guide this, and may it be beneficial to each one of us. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Okay, thank you very much for that prayer. Thank you again for being here and thank you for the prayer. And we will be starting shortly. Just a reminder to keep your mics closed. If you need to say something, please use a virtual hand raise. Okay, and I told you last week that the graduation color is pink and blue. It's combination of both or either. Yeah, and I did ask last week if there was anyone that would love to give a testimony about the program. I need one from each territory. Nobody from my territory has contacted me. I don't know about the other sister Shandira or sister Tubbs or sister McCartney. I don't know if anybody has contacted them, but please feel free to contact them so that we can have you on the program. We know who our speaker will be for the program. It will be Dr. Genus. He has agreed to be the speaker for the graduation. So please prepare for that. And is there any questions as it relates to the program, the graduation, right now before we have the introduction?
So, Sister Hazel is Mitzi. So we're gonna have the same Zoom link for the graduation.
I don't no, we'll have to get another Zoom link. No, this is in person, you know. Sister Mixie, you're going to come to Savannah Church.
Oh,
It's
okay,
in
good.
person, right? But
Okay.
we're gonna provide a Zoom link so we can link together so we can see what's happening
Okay, thank you.
simultaneously. So you that are here,
Sorry
you're
if
going
you said that I didn't hear because I just joined coming from the
well,
funeral, so
I didn't
sorry.
say that, no. I didn't say it
Okay.
before. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other
Sister,
question?
Fle-
Mhm.
Sister Fletcher, are we going to have the lab? I think it was lab values PowerPoint or some kind of notes. I don't think we received that.
On the laboratory values,
Yeah.
well, I am hoping that we'll get it. I heard that I was getting it for a couple of days ago, but I'm still waiting for the questions and that. However, if you don't get it and I don't get it, then we won't have put any questions on the laboratory values in the in this quiz. The quiz is actually completed already, just waiting on that one.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for that question. Any other question?
Yes. Would the quiz be, what's the format for the quiz? Would it be multiple choice? Would it be fill in the
Yes,
blank?
it's multiple choice, and most of it is yes, no, or
Thank you.
choose. Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Any other question? Okay, I am
So
going to
the quiz is gonna be sent to us then to do online or
the quiz.
it'll be you say it's on the 14th.
Yesterday, last week, I did say that we're going to meet here like now, and it will
Okay.
chat, and then you will do the quiz. You will do the quiz, right?
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah. I think some people prefer that than sending it to them. Okay. All right. Without any further ado, let's get along with the program. Any other question you can ask after the presentation. So this evening we have with us Mistress Rosemary Bailey. She holds a Bachelor of Pharmacy honors from the University of Technology in Jamaica. She is a trained clinical pharmacist with a master's in clinical pharmacy from the Robert Gordon University in Scotland. Rosemary has a special interest in mental health and currently works with the mental health team at HSA. She is trained as a clinical herbalist with Dr. Marina Boxtov and also a trained cannabis provider with Caribbean Institute of Pharmacy Policy and Research, UTEC, Jamaica. I am asking that if you are not speaking and I'm the one speaking now, please close your mic. Thank you.
I'm not, let me have to check here. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, wow. And she is trained to do extraneous compounding. She's currently the complementary and alternative medicine pharmacist at the HSA. She served as a senior claims educator with former Life of Jamaica, now Sagicor. She is also a medical missionary, a tobacco cessation, smoking cessation specialist, and mental health first aider. She contributed to several areas of pharmacy practice. She has over 30 years of experience as a pharmacist. She's a past president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica and past pharmacy inspectorate with the Pharmacy Council of Jamaica. She also served as a council member. Rosemary sits on several committees. She is a member of the Caribbean Association of Pharmacists. which currently sits on the Education Committee. She is passionate about the role of the pharmacist as part of the healthcare team. Rosemary is a Christian. She currently attends the Bontown Seventh-day Adventist Church. She serves as the current health ministry director, superintendent, and assistant teacher for the T class. She has one husband, which I believe she should have more than one husband. Okay. She has one husband, Selvin, two children, and two grandchildren. All right. Now, with this resume, you will agree that Rosemary is the fittest person in this presentation. So without any further ado, I'll just introduce you to Rosemary Bailey. All right. The platform is now yours, Rosemary. Did we lost her? Let's see. Oh, I'm not seeing her here. Seems like she fell off. Oh, she's right there. Rosemary. Good.
I'm just unmuting, so sorry. Hello, everyone. A pleasant good afternoon. And it's truly a delight to be here with you this afternoon. I know we were supposed to have our session before, but due to circumstances beyond my control, I was not able to join. So I do apologize. And as Sister Fletcher has noted, we've had several things going on today, and close church family, having funerals and all of that. But I had to be here to share with you this afternoon. So it is definitely a pleasure. So I'm asking for your attention as I share. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we are. Healing disease naturally.
Great. All right. I'm going to share with you, before we get into the meat of this presentation, a little video that I found. So I'm going to play it first and then continue from there. So it's the breaking news, but they're highlighting some work of Dr. Barbara O'Neill.
Is there any way you can turn up that volume?
So the volume.
To many, the words of adulthood.
Yes, Rebecca?
Sorry, that was an error.
Okay, I thought you were having an issue. Okay.
Rosemary? And
Yes,
we're not hearing what is being said.
you're not hearing?
No, we're not hearing.
Okay. Is anybody hearing? I wish
Somebody
somebody
says
had said,
it is jumbled.
oh,
Sorry,
It
Sister
is-
Rosemary, no, we're seeing the mouth and the action, but we're not able to hear
but
properly.
you're not hearing. All right.
Correct.
Okay. What I will do, hold a sec. What I'll do
What I'm
when
hearing
we-
is not audible.
Oh, great. All right.
Maybe
Thanks
you
for
need to,
letting me.
maybe you need to restart.
No, that's okay, because in the interest of time, what I will do when the presentation is sent to you, then you'll be able to hear it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so I'll just move on. All right. So basically the presentation, that video was just saying how the food industry has gotten so corrupt, and we have Dr. Barbara O'Neill. She is a Seventh-day Adventist, and is like for these persons who they have seen, because all of us as health ministries personnel, and including Nurse Fletcher and all these other health ministries persons in the conference and so on, where she's not really a lone voice, but they were sharing that from breaking news that she seems, because she's championing that cause and she has many, many videos. So she's just basically sharing, and she's using the basic laws of health that we're aware of. She's using that to share how corrupt the food industry has become, and how we as individuals, we're just like eating things that is not safe for us, it's not good for our bodies. So we're putting in burgers, all these fast foods and pizzas, and just basically satisfying the dopamine kick then in the brain, just to have these unsafe foods that's basically causing a lot of lifestyle diseases. So that's the gist of it. So when you all get it, then you can get to listen to it properly. So sorry that you weren't hearing. Okay, so the main objectives this afternoon is that I'm going to be sharing a brief history of medicine, and I'm also going to be sharing, you're seeing my slides though, can somebody say?
Yes,
Yes.
we're seeing it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And you're hearing me.
That's correct.
Okay, great. So main objectives, I'm going to be sharing a brief history of medicine, describing the different healthcare approaches and explaining the meaning of some herbal actions, because we would be having to have a whole session, maybe 6 months to go through. So it's just basically to give you a little introduction and explaining the meaning of some herbal actions, identifying some herbal dosage forms, and also outlining some simple herbal remedies for some common conditions. Now, herbs and spices. Herbs and spices are not only good for food. They add additional flavor to food, and they're used throughout history for medicinal purposes. Then they have been used for hundreds of years. Many of the conventional medicines that we have today, as you heard, in pharmacy. So, as a pharmacist, I am very aware of this, that many of the conventional medicines are derived from plants, and some of those that are not directly from the plants, they've used what is in the plant and they try to replicate it and do this by a synthetic process. Medicinal herbs. They are many different herbs. They all contain powerful healing compounds, which can reduce pain and inflammation and also help to alleviate certain chronic conditions. Medicinal herbs. These medicinal herbs are packed with what we call antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, antiseptic. And also these properties provide different benefits for the human body. So looking a little more closely at the history of medicine. Now, in ancient Egypt, we had the early healers who were actually priests. They started using, because before they were using a lot of magic, so now they're using less magic for the treatment of disease, and they would use cultivated herbs such as rosemary, turmeric, cumin, garlic, and sesame. These were some of the herbs that they would use. And they had the lily and the papyrus, which they considered sacred. There was also portrayed in art and ceremony. So what they were using, they would have it shown in the art form and in different ceremonies. In ancient Egypt, they also used the herbal poultices for wounds. And is there anybody who is on this chat who is able to tell me what a poultice is? What is your idea of a poultice?
So a poultice would be a possible combination of if it's herbs or whatever, and you put it maybe in a cloth or something, and sometimes you may apply heat or whatever to the area that you're targeting for remediation.
Thank you so much. Excellent answer. Thank you. Can you just say your name, because I'm not able to see who is speaking?
This is Mitzi Bailey.
Okay, thank you for that, Mitzi. So I need not to elaborate any further. Excellent response. And then ancient Greece now had Hippocrates. I'm sure we've heard of Hippocrates, who was deemed the father of medicine. And this was between 460 to 380 BC. And in this area, he had the classification of herbs energetically. So at that stage, they would refer to herbs as whether it's hot or cold, or whether it's moist or dry. And I don't know if any of you would recall, like your grandmothers would say, okay, don't go outside when it's so damp and wet, or just don't sit on the cold ground, or don't walk barefooted on the cold ground because you might catch a cold. And we know that a cold is caused by a virus. However, there is a lot of truth to that, because in the cold and the damp forms a part of the whole Chinese medicine as well. And they found from then how important it was. So when we speak of like hot and cold and moist and dry, if you're having a fever, you notice that we don't apply heat. So that is where all that comes. We would normally use cooling things to cool you, whether in times gone by, we know better now that we use, tepid water or lukewarm water. But before, they used to rub us up with alcohol or beer rum, or they would also, maybe put you in a cold bath or something. But this whole energetics is very important. So also in ancient Greece, they developed a system of diagnosis and prognosis. So they would come up with giving names to the diseases and saying what would be your possible outcome. And at that time, they were using like 300 to 400 plant species, which was developed. And they also developed medical ethics. First, do no harm. In this era also, Aristotle compiled a list of medicinal herbs, and Theophrastus started the science of botany. They discuss herbs as medicines, kinds and parts of the plants that you would use, the collection methods, and the effects on humans and animals. So some of the early written records were the Atharvavedha, which forms the basis of the Ayurvedic medicine in India. So once you hear about Ayurveda, you think of India. Okay, so that was from 2500 to 2000 BC. And then the Code of Hammurabi, the Babylonian code of law in ancient Mesopotamia, they had 282 laws, including the negligent medical care. Then there was Edwin Smith Papyrus in Egypt. That was 1600 BC. He outlined traumas, diagnosis, and prognosis, and the whole thing of related pulse and the heart. So this is where the Ebers Papyrus came. So the Egyptians would record their knowledge of illnesses and also the cures. This was found in Egypt in the 1550 BC, and the copies dates back to 3400 BC. And at this point, they had over 700 medicinal formulae, and those that were actually working on the cardiovascular or the circulatory system. They spoke about mental illnesses. They spoke about gynecology and birth control, skin and dental and eye problems, parasites and issues of the gut. Then the first Materia Medicas was developed. We had it called the Materia Medica by Dioscorides, which was in 60 to 78 CE. That's the current era. That's the secular way of denoting the time. And serving as a Roman army physician, that's Dioscorides. He was responsible for the compilation of 500 plants, and he described the preparation of 1,000 simple drugs. Then there was Pensao Xing. He was the classic of the Materia Medica in 200 CE. This was the Chinese book outlining agricultural and medicinal plants. So you see, it's getting more and more organized. Nowadays, in the pharmaceutical industry, we have the pharmacopoeia. We speak about the Martindale and all of these compilation of drugs, and we have books with evidence-based now, speaking about botanical medicine and also natural medicines databases. In the 1530s, that's Paracelsus, he was the physician and an alchemist. He believed that medicine should be simple and straightforward. He was actually it was a precursor to pharmacy, scientific and surgery, homeopathy, and floral essence therapy. He developed the doctrine of signatures. Anybody has ever heard of the doctrine of signatures? Anybody?
No.
No. Okay, so I'm going to share with you. Now, the doctrine of signatures really is in its simplest form says that when we look at a plant, you might be able to say exactly what that plant is used for, but it's not foolproof. So it's not every single plant that you can look at. Like, say, for example, you look at the peas, the kidney beans, and they say that's good for the kidneys. Okay? So it's the same concept. Doctrine of signatures, looking in this photograph that I have here. I hope you're all seeing the photograph. The photographs.
Yes, we are.
Great. So I want somebody now to volunteer and tell me which of these plants do you think would be the pilewort? Which one would be the pilewort? If we're going by, if it's supposed to look like what it's used for, which of these plants would look like the pilewort to be used to help us with piles, if that is diagnosed?
Not sure what it is, but
The green
on my side, they say bottom green.
You think the bottom green?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else would like to try?
I think the same thing too. The bottom green one with a little flower on top.
All right, okay. So somebody tell me, very good, you're correct. Okay, so we've eliminated one. What about the toothwort? Which one would be the toothwort?
Top left side.
Top
Pink
left.
flower.
Great, you're bright students, man. Okay, what about this one is a given then, a giveaway. Yellow hue in a plant.
The yellow one on the bottom.
Great, great. So we only have one left, and that would be the liverwort. And does it look like the liver?
Mash up liver.
Well, not really. Look at it. It's pretty smooth. It's just that it's green.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So that explains what the doctrine of signatures is. All right. So look at this now. A short history of medicine. And this is a little poem. I have an earache. So in 2000 BC, hair, eat this root. 1000 AD, that root is heathen. Say this prayer. 1850 AD, that prayer is superstitious.
You're probably muted.
Am I muted?
Go ahead now, we're hearing you now.
Okay. That prayer is that prayer is superstition. Here, drink this potion. In 1940 AD, that potion is snake oil. Take this pill. 1985 AD, that pill is ineffective. Take this antibiotic. In 2000 AD, that antibiotic is artificial. Here, eat this root. So you see what has happened? We've come back full circle.
The plant, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's sharing with you what's going on now in medicine. So here we are. Some of the healthcare approaches that we're taking. The conventional medicine, complementary alternative medicine, which is what I am currently doing as well. And then there's integrative medicine and functional medicine. So in the conventional medicine, what happens if you break an arm, it's an acute situation and you need an emergency treatment. So in this emergency treatment, it's intensive and it's urgent. So if you break your arm, obviously if you're out in the mountains and we're all properly trained, then we'll know exactly what to do, because we'll learn our first aid and our splinting and so on, and what herbs to use to decrease the inflammation. But here, once we're around the conventional medicine, persons are going to gravitate towards that. And also, if you're poisoned, you're not so sure what's happening out there. Most times in nature, God has provided the antidote, usually right beside where you are affected by a particular plant. But because of lack of knowledge, we definitely would not be running to somebody at that stage to get the herb. So we end up using the conventional medicine, because we know if we end up, we can have what we call an anaphylactic shock, persons can die. So this is an urgent situation. So some conventional modalities, we have surgeries, we have prescription medication, symptom treatment and prevention. There is organs, they use the organ system model. So if something is wrong with your head, they're going to treat your head. You're going to have a specialist to treat your kidneys, like you're going to have your nephrologist. You're going to have somebody who is going to treat you for an orthopedic condition, your orthopedic specialist or your ENT specialist, and so on. So they deal with organ system models, and the practitioner is in authority. Then we have the complementary and alternative medicine. And we refer to it for short as CAM. Everybody say, what is CAM? What is CAM? So it's just complementary and alternative medicine. So in this approach, there's the nutritional, the psychological, and the physical. And it's the healing philosophies in the complementary medicine is, I mentioned a little bit, I touched a little bit on it, is the traditional Chinese medicine, homeopathy, naturopathy, and Ayurveda. So what I concentrate on is the herbal remedies, because it's really wide, and also the chiropractor and all of that, they fall under the complementary alternative medicine. So you see just a flow chart of that, just what I mentioned. Then you have the integrative medicine, where there's a blend with the complementary alternative medicine and the conventional. So it's more natural, it's less invasive, it's less expensive, and we're looking more at optimal healing and more of a holistic approach. And then the functional medicine now, if you have persons to do this, is usually not really expensive, but it takes time. When you go into a doctor's office, sometimes it's a whole lot of persons there, a number of persons to get treated. So they're hurrying, sometimes 15, 20 minutes, sometimes half an hour. But with the functional medicine, then we're getting down to grassroots. We're uncovering the root cause. So if you end up having, like, say, for example, you keep going to the doctor and you say, oh, I have a pain in my foot and this foot been hurting me, and they give you painkillers. You go back, the foot inflamed again, and they look at it and they say, well, we don't really see anything. We might have to do an x-ray or so on. And then the pain is still there. but you go back and you still you get an injection this time, and then some painkillers, and then some antibiotics. But when you get down to functional medicine now, they're going to stop and they're going to look really, from when have you been complaining of this pain in your foot? What is really going on? And they may discover, and they look at the foot more closely, and they ask you a lot of questions. And he said, well, I was on a little farm and I went up to this area, and when they check it out and they said, well, let me see the foot. And they look and they might discover that there's a little wood chip or something down in that foot that is causing this problem. And then they would remove it and maybe put some castor oil or put something on there. And then they would have uncovered the root cause. So with functional medicine, they go to the root of what is happening, but it takes time. It takes time because sometimes you've been suffering for years, and it takes time to unearth what is really causing this issue. So they explore predisposing factors, and it's more a personalized treatment and a holistic approach. And so it takes me now into the section where I'm going to give you some terminologies and how we, just like in conventional medicine, we may speak about antibiotics or so on. In the herbal world, in the herbal remedies, herbal medicines, we speak of things like adaptogens, and just adaptogens, they will increase the body's resistance and responsiveness to stress. And an example of this is like from the ginseng family, the Asian ginseng, like the Panax ginseng or the American ginseng. Another one is the Eleutherococcus, which is also known as the Russian ginseng, and that's kind of milder than the Panax ginseng. And I know a number of persons would have heard of ashwagandha, the ashwagandha root, which is the Withiania somnifera. And then we have alteratives. I'm just doing a few of them, okay? Because it's really a number. So we have the alteratives, which these will gradually restore proper function of the body by helping to support elimination and waste, processing via the kidneys, the liver, the lungs, and or the skin. So some may also stimulate digestive function or provide antimicrobial actions. Alteratives, so some examples here. And if you notice that a herb can be an adaptogen and also an alterative because of how the herbs will work in the body, we refer to them as, they'll go where they're needed, right? So just like in conventional medicine, you may have prednisone or any of these steroids, and they can be used for a number of conditions. So it's the same thing. So with the alteratives, the overall effect is that there is increased health and vitality. Examples of hepatic alteratives are like the burdock root, which is the Artium lapa, or the dandelion root, which is the Taraxacum officinale, or the milk thistle. So I know some of these you'll probably be aware of. So I'm giving you the common name and the Latin name. So Silybum marianum, and then there is the Eleutherococcus, which we mentioned before, as the Russian ginseng, and ashwagandha can also be considered an alterative. Then there is the anticatharial. I know persons would know about catarrh, that mucus that comes up, and it can be really bad, especially for persons who smoke or have chronic bronchitis or issues like that. So anticatarrhals help to eliminate excess mucus from sinuses and other parts of the body. And we have some examples there. I know there's also one called horehound, which they actually have a little sweet that they make with honey. But there is eyebright as well, which is euphrasia, and the golden seal. Golden seal, sometimes they will mix that with the echinacea. That's the hydrastis. And it can be substituted with the following, like the berberine, which contains herbs that contain berberine is like the berberis or barberry, which is found plentiful in Northeast and US forest areas, like in Oregon, the Oregon grape root, also that has berberine, which is the Berberis nervosa. There is Ephedra as well, which is the Ephedra sinensis. That's currently banned in the US market due to the cardiovascular toxicity from weight loss supplements with the Ephedra ingredient. And that's because it was abused, but the herbalists will still use it in really minute quantities. Anti-inflammatory herbs. Now, the anti-inflammatory herbs calm and they dampen the inflammatory response, and it may be helpful with acute inflammatory symptoms such as pain and swelling, or it can help mitigate chronic symptoms. So acute inflammation is likely to resolve on its own with no lasting effect. Chronic inflammation, however, is a disbalance or imbalance, and the underlying cause needs to be addressed. So some examples of herbs that will help with inflammation is turmeric, right? That's the curcuma rhizome, the curcuma longa, the salicylate containing herbs. We have the meadow sweet, which is the filipendula, and the willow bark, which is salix, and also the birch bark, which is betula. Just pause a while because that's a lot of information, and just take a deep breath and enjoy this beautiful scenery. Just take a deep breath in and out. Do you agree that's beautiful?
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
madam.
Awesome.
Wish I was
Okay.
there.
You know?
Yes, it is.
Fantastic.
All right. Thank you for your response. Okay, so antiemetics, herbs that will reduce feelings of nausea, relieve or prevent vomiting, carminatives, and rich in volatile oils. They soothe and settle the stomach. They relax the mind and soothe the digestive tract. Herbal and in conventional medicine, we do mention emetics as well, antiemetics. Some common ones are Melissa officinalis, which is a lemon balm, the Matricaria, which is chamomile, and the Mentha peperita, which is our peppermint, and the Zingaba, which is ginger. Some astringents. These herbs have a binding, tightening, or drying effect upon the mucous membrane and skin and or other exposed tissue. Herbal examples of astringents. The Achillea, which is that flower in the photo, the Achillea millefolium leaf, which is the yarrow. There's also the capsula, which is the shepherd's purse, and the filipendula, which we mentioned before, the meadowsweet. And you have geranium. I think you will know this one as well, the hamamelis, which is the witch hazel, and the quercus, which is the white or red oak, and the rubus idios, which is the red raspberry. Then we have the cardiac tonics or the cardioactives. So these herbs have an overall beneficial action on the heart and the circulatory system. They strengthen the heart's ability to pump blood around the body. Also prevent accumulation of fluid in the lungs and extremities. They help in a variety of cardiovascular disorders, example, CHF, and even that's cardiac heart failure and even arrhythmias. Some of these herbs, the examples of the cardiac tonics is like the lily of the valley, which is the Convallaria majalis, and the crataegus, which is the hawthorn berries, as shown in the picture, and digitalis, which we get digoxin from, which is the foxglove, which is quite toxic. And there is the Leonoris cardica, which is the motherwort. Then we have the mulsens. These herbs will soothe and protect irritated or inflamed internal tissue. They're used if a membrane is raw, if it's hot, if it's irritated, if it's inflamed, and that should have been cooling. So it's cooling, soothing, healing, and relaxing. So herbal examples of the mulsens, we have like the Althea officinalis, which is the marshmallow, the leaf or the root. There's Glycyrrhiza, which is the licorice, and the Symphytum officinalis, which is comfrey, and the Ulma fulva, which is the slippery elm. Some other herbal actions, I'll just mention them. The diuretics, which it is also used in the conventional. You have the emmenagogues, expectorants, hypotensives, which will lower the blood pressure, immunomodulators, which helps with the immune system, and laxatives. There are also antimicrobials, antispasmodics that helps with spasms, and antilytics. These will help with breaking up stones like gallstones and so on, bitters, caraminatives, and the caraminatives, so you see it throughout the presentation. It helps with, again, healing the stomach and reducing gas. And the mulsens I mentioned there as well. Oh, that's a repeat. So the lavender. Lavender is the lavandula. So I'm just mentioning a few of the herbs, just picking out some of the common ones. It's known for its aromatic, pleasant scent, and from the oils in the tiny blue violet blossom. The essential oils also help with insomnia. So persons who are having issues with falling asleep and, getting a good night's sleep, then, there is used in aromatherapy. It's also used as oils that maybe the essential oils that you put in another carrier oil and, applied to the skin. Sometimes it is placed in a tea, in a herbal blend, a dried herbal blend, and it's used to help with anxiety and stress and to reduce pain associated with migraines. That's the lavandula. Then there's the dandelion, which I mentioned earlier, which is the Taraxacum officinalis, and that's how it looks. The dandelions are nutritionally packed. They have a number of vitamins and minerals, and every part of the plant is edible. It helps to fight inflammation. It helps to lower cholesterol. It lowers and reduces the risk of cardiovascular diseases, and it has several antioxidants. And with the antioxidants, it helps to improve the immune system and decrease free radicals. And so it does help you overall with your health. And I mentioned cannabis because I've had special training in the area as well. And the cannabis has gotten a lot of bad name, and rightly so, because over the years, the young people, old people, everybody seemed to have abused it. And so, what it was really intended for in nature is just coming up now more and more. Although it had been mentioned, it was really suppressed, and more governments are decriminalizing it. And so persons are able to use it for the medicinal use that it was intended by our Creator. So some of the benefits I just mentioned here quickly, because that alone is a presentation by itself. So it has analgesic properties. It's used as an antiemetic. It's an immunomodulator, so it helps the immune system. It can help you with spasms in the stomach once everything. And I must interject here that what we're doing and what we're sharing, it does not replace what your doctor says to you, but whatever we do as clinical herbalists or as herbalists, it's done in a judicious way. We do doses, particular doses of whatever plants that you get. And most of the plants that we use, like in my practice, we do not use one individual plant. We use a combination of the herbs, and we use the whole plant. Nothing is added to it. It's not synthetic in any way. And so we use like a combination, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 plants that will give like a synergistic effect, right? So with the cannabis, and I'm just picking them out because, you know, I know you will be familiar with some of them. So the bitter and it is a bitter herb. And so it works as a digestive stimulant. It also works as a laxative, mainly the seeds. It's a nervine, a sedative, and a hypnotic. So it can help, you know, issues with anxiety, and it can help to calm as well. We have the aloe vera, which is an inflammatory modulator as well. So it will decrease inflammation. It's an immunomodulator, so it helps the immune system. It's a demulcent and an emollient, so it will soothe. And also you can use it in lotions, you know, a lot of products that you have, it has the aloe vera in it, and it's also used to help with burns and wounds and so on. It's used in the treatment and prevention of ulcers, stomach ulcers that is, and constipation, and for wound healing. And these are just some of the uses. We know the garlic, which is the allium. The onions are also in the allium family. So antimicrobial, it also helps to lower fat. So in the body, if you're told that your cholesterol is high, the garlic is also good, and it's sometimes used in formulas that we prepare. So it's a hypolipidemic, and it's also hypertensive, so it will help to lower your blood pressure. It's a rubefacient, and the rubefacient means that once you put it on your skin, it will irritate. I don't know if anybody has ever been burnt by garlic, so you might want to put it on the skin for a particular reason, but then it will burn the area. So you have to be careful what you're putting it on, and usually we will put it on as a poultice if we're applying it to the skin. So that means it's not going to touch directly on the skin, and you would not put it on an open wound. But you can put it on like your foot bottom and so on if you're treating some inflammation or cough. So the rubefacient means that it gives you a counter irritant effect. So if you put it on your skin, then it will irritate, it will burn, and so it decreases the inflammation that way. It's also an antihistamine, and it protects the heart, and it can be used as an expectorant. So you have certain cough mixtures that they will use that is quite effective. I don't know if anybody knows Liquor Fruta or remembers Liquor Fruta. That was a highly garlic base. And then the peppermint, you know, we all love to drink peppermint tea, Mentha piperita, and there is also Mentha spicata, which is the spearmint, the fragrant mint herb, sorry, and it has been used for a number of years for its minty taste, and the oil is very effective and helps to provide relief. Like if you get the peppermint oil, if you're having like a stomach upset, you just need the actual oil. You just need to put like a toothpick amount, just a few drops in some hot water, and very soon the pain or the spasms will go. It has the antiemetic effect there again, and anti-inflammatory. It has antimicrobial effect. It's a carminative and antispasmodic and a diaphoretic. So it means that it will help with sweating, right? So you will actually sweat when you have the herb like that. So that's why if you have a fever and so on, it will assist in the cooling effect. Then it's also used as an expectorant. Then there is cayenne, which is the capsicum, and that is used for its analgesic effect. So again, a pain, antimicrobial, so infections, antioxidants, helping to build the immune system, the carminative for gas and so on, and stomach upset. It is a circulatory stimulant. So cayenne is very interesting because usually they say to keep some aspirin at home, 81 milligram aspirin and so on. But in case there is a heart attack or you think somebody is having a heart attack, and they would give the aspirin, and you keep the baby aspirin to help improve the circulation. But cayenne is used in this way that if somebody is having a heart attack or so, and you don't have any aspirin and the ambulance is on the way, you can put a few, like a half spoonful of cayenne underneath the tongue. And it helps to improve the circulation and get the heart going again. It is also a rubefacient and a diaphoretic. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I will stop it there.
Wow. So good.
Well, thank you. Can you take down your,
Okay.
yeah, please take it down. Now that was a powerful presentation. A lot, a lot to be swallowed. What is it from this presentation that we need to know? I know we can't absorb all of that one time. So just tell us, what is it? That I'm posing the first question. What is it that we need to know? What is it you want us to know?
We
from this
need
presentation?
so that in olden days, people or grandparents or parents before parents, they usually depend on herbs. So we realize that herbs is very potent for us, but it depends on how we use it.
Yes.
Sister Hayes, thank you for that question, for that answer. But I'm asking Rosemary because the quiz is coming. And I just want her to tell us what is it that we need to do for the quiz.
Okay, because killing me, but
Thank you for your comments, Sister Hales. Well, the major thing that I gave you a touch on a little bit of everything there, but the things, first of all, the quiz is not hard. And I mentioned a little history there, so you can look at the history and also the categories. I spoke a lot about antiemetics and so on. So you look at the categories, and just for us to remember that the herbs are also, for ease, they're in categories, and one herb can do a number of things. And say for example, whenever we're doing a blend or we're making a formula, because we do tinctures, so that is actually, they use the alcohol to extract the constituents out of these plants, because if you were to put water alone, it doesn't take out as much. And persons are, when they're sick, then they need a concentrated form, which we give whether as a teaspoon or a drop. So I did mention like the hawthorn berries, those are like common ones, which those are like the cardiac tonics. And that has been, even when I was in pharmacy school more than 30 years ago. And as you know, the herbs date back, but that was a common one that was used. And they would also make like capsules of them. So we would find them in the pharmacies as well. But we also have the berries and we have the dried herbs that we use in our clinic currently. So Crataegus is quite common, and it is used as mainly in the cardiac area and for circulation. So that's a very important point that I would want you to remember.
Okay, thank you. Those of you that are in the chat now, there's an evaluation form in the chat. I'm asking you to download it and do the questions before you leave. I would appreciate it very much. Okay.
And just to remind us that the herbs are for the healing of the nation, and that as knowledge increase, that persons are going to, as I shared with that poem, that we come back full circle where we're learning a lot more now about the herbs, although they were there a long time. And so that's why they always say I like to talk to older folks, senior citizens. I like to talk to them because I learn from them. And there's so much to learn that we could never learn enough. And so when you listen, and sometimes when they show you things, you will never forget them, because in the earlier part of my training, I was exposed to the peppermint, and then persons sometimes are not realizing that there are, different species of the mint, but that kind of stuck with me because I was able to go into the garden and get to actually see physically that there is the spearmint and there is the black mint and there is that mint and so on. And now I'm actually using it now in my practice, where I have that I know the difference when I see it, that this is the mentha spicata and this is the peppermint, the spearmint and the black mint, and we use them in different ways.
Okay, the forum is open now. If you have any questions, please say it now.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bailey. Thank you so much for your presentation. I got so much from it. Just a question here. If I wanted to take any one of those herbs in capsule form, would I still get the benefits of it?
Yes, and I mentioned that because some persons can't tolerate, and the good thing though is that some of the herbs are bitter, but some of them they're just bland, they're just mild, and I'll just share that we have a process that we use for the leaves. If we use the leaves, the softer parts of the plant, and some of us would be accustomed to those terms that we steep. So we pour the hot water. After we boil up the water, we don't have to make it too hot. We boil it up, but we pour that on, and we put that for like 10 to 15 minutes and cover it down. That's all we say. We draw the tea, or we draw the mint, or so on. That is effective. But however, if we have it dried or in the powdered form, it's the same whole plant, and usually those capsules, and that's where we have to be careful, the capsules that the encasing should be pectin and not gelatin, because especially if you're moving to a plant-based diet and you don't want to have the meats, then you have to be careful that you're not having a gelatin capsule as compared to, using a plant base. So that's the major problems with the capsule. But once that is dissolved, then you're getting the active ingredient, which is basically, that's what we do with the regular medicine, that you have them in the capsule form to mask the taste.
Okay, thank you. And my last question, Miss Bailey, how do I know
Yes.
how long I should take any one of those for? Is it something I take forever and ever, or do I take it for a while, put a pause, and resume at a later date?
Thank you. Thank you so much for that question, because we don't want remember what I said, that they're medicines, they're herbs, and we only take medicines when we're ill, when we're sick. And if you're going to use something like just for laxative, or just clearing you out, or for a period, it's only for a period. Even I don't know if I mentioned the anthelmintics there. So the herbs that you use, like the wormwood, to get rid of parasites, or for those who use the papaw seeds and so on, it's just for a period of time. You would just do that like twice a year if you're clearing. We used to do like a back to school deworming. So because we eat the fruits and the vegetables and so on, it's likely that we have parasites. And if we walk barefooted, and if we go into the river or whatever, it's still recommended that you do that cleansing, that cleaning, but it's not every day that you will do that. And the same thing, if you have like high blood pressure, or you have diabetes or anything like that, then it for each year that you've had the disease. So like, say, for example, you have had the disease for 1 year, then you get like 3 to 6 months of treatment. But if you have had it for over 5 years, then you would double or triple accordingly. So if you have the body disease for a while, or you're aware how long, then it's the longer the treatment. And if you have an acute situation where there's just pain, once the pain is removed, then you don't take it anymore. And I'll give you a particular example. I had a friend who, when we just started the clinic, she she heard that we were starting, and she had arthritis. She was suffering from arthritis, and she was recently diagnosed, but she had had it a number of years. She noticed that the knees start hurting, and she having little issues here and there. And we prepared a formula for her when she started, and it's with like boswellia, that's the frankincense, and I mentioned like the salix and the viburnum and so on. So these were all placed in her formula, and she used it because we're a very new clinic, and we work inside the hospital, and we had about maybe 2.5 years she used it. And so she wasn't totally consistent with it. But for the most part, when the pain was on her, she took it. And as soon as she started to feel better, which is what you want, then she removed it. And she wasn't able to walk up the stairs. She wasn't able to skip. She had to be gingerly going up and down the stairs. But no, she started to hop and skip, because there was definitely some improvement there. She's a teacher, so she's able to play outside with the children now. So
Okay.
she hardly comes for her refill anymore.
Belinda, was that your question, or your hand is just? Belinda? Sister Roll, were you the person that asked the question?
Yes. I was having a question about those anti-nausea herbs. I'm wondering, would they be safe for a pregnant lady?
Okay, so that's another thing that we do. Is not all of them would be safe, but we would pick, like, say, for example, if somebody is just having the nausea and they're not pregnant and they're not having any other issues, we can choose a variety. But with the pregnant woman, then we assess it and we decide on the ones that's safe for them. So we're very, just the same way with the regular medicines, we're very cautious with the herbs that we use if the person is pregnant. But there are herbs and they use more like the ginger as well, like they are able to chew small amounts of ginger. And most times when persons are like having issues with nausea and stuff, it's a nutrient that they're lacking at that time, so they need to eat. Most times it's, I think, the magnesium, and so at that time they need to eat up their greens and have a balanced diet, and it helps to reduce that nausea.
Okay, we'll go to Sister Angela Cooper, then Kirk Appleby, and then Sister Gibbs.
Good afternoon. Mine is not really a question. It was I was letting them what the slide you was showing first about this from the TV. What's her name again?
Barbara
What we couldn't
O'Neill.
hear properly. Barbara O'Neill. Yes, because around 2-3 weeks ago I went on my phone and I saw it come up and I was listening to it. So I heard one about high blood pressure and I bought that one, but I just got it. I am on day 4, so I don't know because it's after 7 days, your pressure will go down and you'll start to see signs. So I'm on day 4, so I have 3 days to go.
Sorry,
But
what did you buy? Sorry, I didn't hear the
the one
herb.
for high blood pressure.
The Crotagos?
Oh, it's in my bag somewhere. I don't remember what's its name. I think it starts with CY, something like that. But it's the one for blood pressure, high blood pressure,
And
but
you have, and what dose are you taking?
it's 1 pill per day.
Okay.
It's only 1 per day.
So you have something to monitor your blood pressure? You have a monitor? You have a blood pressure machine?
Yes. So I'm going to
Okay.
wait until day 7 to see exactly. I know my pressure has been going down, but I'm just trying to wait until day 7 to see how much down it gone, because when I started taking it, I think my pressure was like 150 something.
Okay.
And when I checked it, not yesterday, the day before, it was 131/83. So I'm gonna wait until after day 7 and see if it gone right to the exact 120/50, something like that, whatever. But on an honest note, I feel much different. I don't have that.
That's great.
Yes.
But you
I
know
don't know if
that it's a holistic approach, as you saw there, right? So even though you're
yes,
using the herbs, you still need to get to bed on time. You still need to drink your water. You still need to do your exercise and make sure
yes,
you're eating the things that you know is good and wholesome for food. So it's a holistic
yes,
approach to get you
yes,
well.
right. So that's the reason why I bought it, because I don't eat. I try hard enough to eat healthy and do that. The only problem is having going to bed early. But I'm trying now to go to bed early, get enough rest, but I drink enough water because I don't drink juice. So I just drink water and so forth. I don't use sugar and I hardly use salt. So I'm just gonna see how it works.
Okay,
If
Right.
it
Sister.
works.
And I'm glad that you said you hardly use salt, but you need to be using some amount of salt, because if you don't have the salt in your diet, which we're learning more that the Celtic salt and these are the Himalaya salt, those are some of the better ones for us because they have quite a bit of minerals in them as well. And you don't want a new problem where you have a low salt, where you have to go now to be introducing salt, whether via veins or using slow sodium. So you have to have that delicate balance there. So it's everything in moderation. We're not to
Yes,
have excess, but we have to have a balance there.
Yes,
Okay,
okay,
so
thank you.
we have 3 more hands up, and we're going to take that and we're going to end. We want to end at 4:30. So Sister Cooper, you can let us know how it goes. We'll be happy to hear.
Sure will, sure will.
All
Yes,
right,
please
thank you
keep
very
us
much.
in touch.
It's Kirk now.
Yes, Mom. Good evening. Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
2 questions. One, in exercise, in particular, vigorous exercise, weight training, running, swimming, stuff like that. Recovery is an extremely important thing. And I am wondering what herbal supplements would you suggest that can be used on a daily basis to increase recovery time, or should I say decrease recovery time? That's one. 2, one of the biggest arguments I have heard against these kind of herbal interventions is that the dosage, I may go pick a plant, boil it in some water, make a tea, and I'm not entirely sure of the dosage that I'm taking. I may take too much, I may not take enough. How would you respond to an argument like that?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. So Kirk, you need to help me here because you say that I'm trying to answer your first question first. So in terms of the recovery, I'm wanting to know recovery from an illness or an injury. Can you be specific with what you're
Exercise
recovering from?
when you
No,
exercise.
exercise recovery. So for example, you go to the gym and you do some squats and some deadlifts, and there's muscle damage, there is fatigue, there is swelling, because that normally happens when you do really vigorous
Okay. I
exercise.
just wanted to be clear as to what I was
Understand.
answering. Okay, all right.
Before you answer the question, I'm just reminding persons, please can do the evaluation form that's in the chat. Thank you.
All right. So in terms of that, the first order of business is that once you have exercise injury, the idea is that you don't allow any further injury. So you'll have to rest. That's the first thing. And you apply whatever, we did hydrotherapy last time and so on. So you do those things. But in terms of the herbs now, we would normally give things to help you with the pain. We'll give you things, some of the anti-inflammatory herbs, and apply compresses and so on. We also have topical herbs that we use for inflammation. Like I mentioned, the symphytum, the comfrey is a common one, and also the clove oil. So some of those we would do like topical. So you wouldn't necessarily have to get something by mouth. We would do topical and allow for the rest and the ice and whatever hydrotherapy. And then the other question, the second part of your question now is regarding the dosage. And as I mentioned, that we come back full circle. But a lot of persons, once you're not into the whole herbal world or herbal realm, or being a herbalist or whatever clinical herbalist, you're not aware that they're actually dosages. So you as the layperson might want to go and pick 2 leaves, 3 leaves. There's still a guide. So it's not like breaking off a whole branch. Because and it's not to be funny or anything. I had a personal experience during COVID. They said that the vervain, the verbena is very good for the reducing inflammation and also increasing the immune system. So he went and put a whole lot. I kept asking him, what amount, what dosage are you taking? And he proceeded to send me a photograph of what he did. It was like a whole limb thing that he put into a potter thing and just boil it. And so there was no dosage, as you rightly said, but he said he felt good. And within 2 days, he got negative results and so on. But that is also like overdoing it and putting your body at risk, because you, as you rightly say, you can't tell the amount of toxins that might be present and that. So we normally give a guide. You use 2 to 3 leaves, and the leaf, the green leaf is less potent than the dry, because the green leaf has more water content in it. So, there are still doses, and there are some that are more potent that we only recommend one leaf, So, other than that, in the clinic now, we actually measure, we weigh and we measure everything. So
Okay,
that way you're getting a particular dose, and we try mostly. I work alongside a medical herbalist, and she's very conservative, and so most things are less. Like if you to do 3 times the amount, she's gonna do one. If you're to do 1 to 3 spoons, she's gonna do 1 teaspoon or 1.5 teaspoon. So that way, you're not, because when you're using the whole plants, you have all of the toxins, you have all the tannins and so on in these medicinal herbs. And plus, as I mentioned before, we have a guide where we have evidence-based botanical medicine that we use, and we also use a natural medicines database. So persons who are working with these herbs all the time, they're updating the information and also mentioning what is the possible adverse reactions that you can get. So please, people, remember that the herbs are for healing, but you have to use them in particular doses.
In other words, before you take it, get some
Proper
advice.
advice.
Official advice from the person who knows. All right. Sister Gibbs.
Okay, thank you. I have a quick question. The neem plant seems to be very popular. And I was wondering, like, which category that would be under.
Okay, so we have it as an anti-inflammatory, and also it helps with parasites. It helps with keeping mosquitoes away as well. And it's very good for the hair. It's very good for topical, So we have it as anthelmintic as well, because of, being good for the parasites, but we use it a lot in the topical preparations as well. So like as an anti-dandruff and issues with the skin as well as an anti-inflammatory.
It's been touted for diabetes. So maybe that's why she's asking. Have you heard that?
Oh, okay. Well, I have not seen that one as yet, but I know definitely for the other uses.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very
And
much.
as you mentioned, the diabetes, the cinnamon is another popular one. The cinnamon and the goat's rue, the galega, is used a lot for diabetes, and the gymnema. So in my circles, that's what we're using much more so than the neem.
Okay, thank you very much.
Galega and gymnema.
All right. Do you know the alpha lipoic acid?
Oh, yes. And that is more one of the amino acids.
No, it's been touted for
helping dyslipidemia and blood
sugar.
sugar. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
But
So
that's
we have
go ahead.
We have one lone person
And I think
Mr.
Selvin was
Bailey,
trying to ask a question.
Mr. Bailey, it's your turn. That's the last question now.
Thank you, Sister Fletcher. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
All right. So Sister Rosie, thanks for a very informative presentation, and it's very good that this option is possible where people can make choices, as it regards to alternative herbal medicine. During the presentation, you make reference to the importance of cayenne pepper when, for example, somebody may be having a heart attack, the suspect heart attack. You said a portion of the half a teaspoon could be placed under the tongue. But could you say what size in terms of the spoon?
The teaspoon, the half of the teaspoon, quarter to a half of a teaspoon. That's the baby spoon, which is a 5 ml.
Oh, the teaspoon. Okay. All right.
Yeah, the tiny spoon, people, the tiny spoon.
All
5
right.
mils. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good job. Keep it up.
The 5 ml spoon, so you're just gonna get a small amount.
Okay, thanks.
Say that
You're welcome.
Mr. Bailey was the last one, but I see another and that's will the last one now. Last now.
Yes,
Last
yes.
now.
I so appreciate that. Miss Bailey, how can we
Yes,
get in
Mr.
contact?
Mika.
How can we get in contact with you? Because I noticed Nurse Fletcher just mentioned something to you just now, and you said, yes, that's very good for blood sugar. But I have no idea what that is. In addition to that, you say Galega bush, cinnamon, and you said something else. I can't remember.
Gymnema.
Can you spell that for me?
Let me see. It's GYMENEA, if I'm correct.
And then that medicine that Nurse Fletcher sent you just now, can you tell me exactly what that is?
Well,
And
I am knowing
sugar?
it as as one of our amino acids, and I would have to do a little more research on it and let you right.
But like I also mentioned, how can we get in contact with you? Because I have some personal questions that I'd like to ask. Not the forum for it. So how would I be able to get in contact with you?
All right. So, and for anybody else who is on, I'm okay with giving you my number, and my email address was up, so I can give it to you again. I'm Rosemary Bailey, and it's 1345 because I'm in Grand Cayman. 1345-929-6481. 929-6481. And I am at beautybailey@hotmail.com.
All right, I wasn't following the chat, Rosemary. There's questions there. Somebody's asking where they can get that botanical reference book.
Okay, you can do it online. You can order it online. It is evidence-based botanical medicine. Let me see.
You want to write there?
I can give you the ISBN.
Write it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Write it in the chat and write your email.
I can. Okay.
Yeah?
I will.
And I'm holding on to make sure that everybody has done their evaluation. So she's writing that so that if you have not done it, please do it now. I saw somebody's asking.
Are you able to see if it had been submitted?
Me?
Are you able to see if the evaluation has been submitted by a particular person?
Once you submit it, it will go where it's supposed to go. So just do it and send it.
Okay.
Somebody asked me
I
to
did.
submit it.
I
So
did submit.
just scroll up. If you haven't seen, just scroll up and look. There's just one link in there. Just please scroll up and look for the link. Sister Walker.
No, but Nurse Fletcher, if she joined late after you've posted it in the chat, she won't be able to see it.
She was there. She was there.
I was asking because I did the evaluation and I pressed submit. So I wanted to know if she was able to see if it had come through.
Yeah, but it don't come to me because I didn't make it. I just asked somebody to do so. I can't tell you, and they're not here to answer the question.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Sister Fletcher,
Yeah.
the evaluation is for the whole course.
Yeah. Okay, so you're doing your form now?
I'm gonna try and find it back.
All right, I send it to you from my WhatsApp, okay?
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Okay, so there's anybody that haven't done the evaluation? It's the same process for the exam, you know, so you start practice right now.
So you did the photograph?
I don't have the photographer here, so I don't know if anybody here can do that for me. The photographer not on this evening.
That's funny because I got my camera to work today.
Yes.
That's funny because I got my camera to work today.
Okay, and you're not taking a picture, eh? Oh my.
Okay, but I
So
think
what
I should be able to do it.
All right, then. Well,
Let's
everybody,
try.
open up your camera. Sister Rosemary is going to.
I'm gonna try.
Gonna try.
I'm gonna go on my phone. Let me try it. Phone. Come.
So you're gonna log in to get on the phone. So somebody is gone already.
No, I'm gonna use Selvin's phone.
All right, put on your picture. All right, Sister Corey, you're looking good. You are looking good. I like your background. Selvin, put on your camera. Let me put on your camera. I'm calling those that I can see. He come stand up beside you. Tamika, you want to open up your camera for us? Shaniska, we only see the top part of your head, so if you could fix yourself properly so we can see you. Oh.
Give us a nice smile, everyone. Put on your beautiful faces.
Oh, wow. Tamika, wait. Ah, there you go. Wow. But that is, oh, well, that's not you. That's not where you are you?
All right, I hope I got everybody.
Okay.
I'm not there. You're not there. Go back in.
All right, Missy, just put on hers. Tamika, folks.
Okay, let me try.
You try.
The husband is so tall. Look
All
at him.
right. All right, Sharon is on.
Oh.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, I hope I got some good ones.
All right, that's good. That's good.
I
What
tried.
I just wrote the names then. We're in my book. Yeah. Again? Not today, tomorrow.
So thank you all for your time and for your listening and for your questions.
All right, thank you very much, Sister Rosie.
Thank
It
you,
was,
Sister Rosie.
it was worth the wait. And I'm so sorry that more people wasn't here today. However, we that were here, we enjoyed and we learned a lot. And we enjoyed your presentation, very good presentation, facts and everything. There are names that we can't pronounce and will not pronounce, but we have gained some understanding. Yes. I suppose we have to be.
It comes with time, man. I couldn't pronounce them one time and I'm still not perfect.
All right. Yeah, but you did very well. Very good presentation.
Very good. Not a lot.
So remember, we convene on the 14th so we can do our quiz. And as soon as Sister Bailey send me her presentation, I will be sending it to you. I hope it's not too big to go in the mail, because my mail have a certain amount of things that it can carry. If it is too big, then
I guess I could condense it and I could what you call it, compress it, and it should be able to go.
Right. Okay.
And
so
what time on the 14th we're meeting? Because there's a
Same time.
graduation here on the 14th too, you know. I must hear.
Are you
I'm not so
graduating?
sure what time.
Will you be
I'm one of the
graduating?
teachers.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not
We
graduating
want to
yet.
stick with the same time we have it. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock Cayman time, 4 o'clock Bahamas and Turks.
Okay, for the quiz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you for staying on and thank you for continuing the course to the end. And like I say, you have created history and we are looking forward to our graduation. So make plan for it, prepare for it, and we shall have a jolly good time. I will meet with the Cayman representative so we can plan. Last time we had some eating. We do something like that for next graduation. I don't know what the plans is for you on the other side, but if you don't, you are invited to come and dine with us. And remember, please, to send, I need one person to give a testimony from the Cayman Island, one from Turks, one from North and South Bahamas. Okay. So this is the end of the course. And I'll now ask for a volunteer prayer as we end today in a bang. And I think I'll ask one of the males. I think those are just 2 males today. I don't know what happened to Mr. Kid. I haven't heard him for a couple weeks now. So Mr. Bailey or Mr. Kirk? Over to you.
I just want
Yes,
to take
ma'am.
a moment to thank you for this wonderful program and the whole lineup of presenters. It was very beneficial and definitely exciting for me. I love to study and whatever. So it's like, you know, in hearing everything and just being back in class. I wanted to be a teacher myself when I was growing up. So it was just a joy to be in class one more time and, you know, to learn all these things because, and, you know, to share with one another. God has us on this earth and he, for his own glory and all the presenters made sure that they